Welcome back to the program. Last week, we talked with Ajahn Supawan Green about the host mind versus the guests, which are the Jerrys, and how to clean up the clutter in your host mind, where that is our permanent residence. That's our inner space, our sanctuary, and our mental self, whereas our guests are the Jerrys and visitors coming in and out that may cause us trouble, or at the same time is also what makes us unique, what separates us as individuals as well. So today we're going to talk about normalcy with Ajahn Supawan, honorific for teacher. Now, Ajahn, I have a question about the issue of normality. A lot of people these days, they follow a system that they would seem, that they understand as being normal, especially with our new normal. People are getting a bit more confused as well. What is normal? What is not normal? What is real normality? What isn't? So how do we connect this with the host mind, with our real self, with our mental self?
Yeah. Hi, Roslyn. Yeah, thank you for the question. This is another very good question, because nowadays we talk about this new normal, and I wonder whether we know anything about our old normal. You know, what is the old normality, and most importantly, what is the true normality? I will try to make everything clear to you. So it's important that we got to connect with the real knowledge that the Buddha have found out for us first. I think this is a very safe area that we can go. So let me show you some picture. Last week that we talk about the state of the host mind that you talk about, and then talk about Jerry as the guest, right? That Jerry created the state of diversity. Jerry created the state of individuality. Yeah, let me remember this picture.
Yes.
We got our physical self, we got the mental self, and then we got the Jerry. So Jerry is the part that create all this diversity. And it is this Jerry, especially Pink Jerry, that give us this, what you call creation, you know, creative mind, creativity, that make us try and explore and, you know, with all the new things. So Jerry,
and express, yes.
It's important as well, because it's one of the main feature of this life form, these 5 components that make up of a life form. So we do need Jerry. But last week, what I tried to explain to people is that the problem is that when we have Jerry, and then we're born with this spiritual ignorance, not knowing about the host mind, not knowing about our mental space, which is the true freedom of our life. So therefore, our real self, our inner self, you know, is taken over by Jerry. And then we are living in this matrix world, right? In this elusive world, not knowing that this is our host mind, our true self. This whole thing, this whole experience, it means our mental self. Our mental self is our consciousness. This is the consciousness. So I personify this state of consciousness and call the mental self. So mental self with the space, and the space is always there all the time. So this is the true freedom. So when we talk about normality, we got to come back to this very ultimate state of mind again, that the Buddha had found out on the night of his enlightenment, this state of host mind. So let's say that this state of host mind is the state of normality, the real normality. You can use the term normality or sanity. Sanity, you know, you're not that person. Sanity, the true sanity, yeah. The true sanity, in fact, is the state of the innocent perception when we are with a host mind, with a mental space, you know, truly awakening at that time. So to
truly immersed in the present, yes.
Yeah, to be in the present. So to get to this state of normality, you need practice. Right? And that practice is bring your mental self back home. Bring your mental self back home. This is something that we have talked before. So I try to connect all these different topics up and then give you this clarity one thing at a time. So let's say that this is the state of normality. And then whenever that when I talk about you, I don't talk about this shell. This physical body is only a shell, okay? Only a shell. We don't talk about this, okay? We talk about our true self, our inner self, true self, which is the part that we cannot see in the mirror. So that's why we need all these props to help us, okay? So what happened is that this thing has been robbed the freedom by Jerry. And then once you Jerry take you over like this, you lose your state of normality. So it doesn't matter, your mental self is being taken by pink Jerry or black Jerry. Can you see that? Can you see that? This is normality. The normality is your mental space, your host mind, your still mind, your peace and quiet with your mental space. This is normality. This is true normality. This is true sanity. True sanity. But the moment that you're taken over by Jerry, either the dark one or the pink one, can you see that this pendulum begin to spin, begin to swing? It doesn't matter if swing to this side or swing to this side. Both sides it classed as abnormality. Both sides classed as insanity. You follow? Okay.
Yes.
I know it doesn't sound very good, isn't it? How can this be insanity? I don't feel insane. I don't mean the complete madness. I just, the meaning of this insanity is just the movement. This stillness is normality. Okay. But when you begin to swing, it doesn't matter what side, that is abnormality, insanity.
Yes, you're distinguishing sanity versus insanity, but not the extreme sense of the word, but
yes, thank you.
Yes.
Not the extreme insanity. No. Yeah. I got another picture. Let me show you this. Let me show you. So can I share screen?
Yes, please.
Share screen. And then, so I'd like to show you this picture. The true normality we got to judge from the Buddha's endorsement on the night of his enlightenment that I talked earlier, okay, which is, talk about this. The host mind is the state of true normality or sanity. So Jerry infested mind is the state of abnormality or insanity, but not the extreme one, not the extreme one. Okay, I also put the picture of yin and yang here as well. You can see that it is Jerry that creates the state of duality, okay, good and evil, duality. Whereas the circle, okay, the circle above enclosing the yin and yang, that is the state of the ultimate truth, nirvana, or the state of mental space, the state of true normality. Okay, so let's agree on this one first. Let's agree on this one. And then this one shows that the host mind is the true liberation. The host mind is the true liberation from Jerry. So as I showed you earlier, when your mind swings like this, it doesn't matter what color Jerry that you are trapped within. Okay, whether it's a dark Jerry, pink Jerry, white Jerry, or even clear Jerry, this is all representing the state of your mind that is swing out of the state of normality. So the normality is the state of the host mind that there is no Jerry whatsoever that take you over. In the middle, I wrote down the true happiness, the absolute normality. So when you have the absolute normality, it means that at the beginning, you're going to train yourself to get to the absolute normality by train yourself, bring your mental self back home to your breath, home to your movement, home to your physical sensation. Okay, so when you train yourself like that, you are training your mental self back to the state of normality. But when it swings, it goes either way to either, this goes up. So let's say, yeah, it is this picture that I like you to see. HM that represent Host mind or HM is innocent perception, IP, okay, and normality, which in this picture represents with this straight line in the middle, or the pendulum that is still in the middle, okay? So this is the state of mind that the Buddha had found out on the night of his enlightenment. There is no enduring whatsoever about with Jerry, just simply still and let go of everything. But because life, the reality of life is that we need to deal with Jerry, all sorts of Jerry. We need to deal with that to have a normal, I'm going to say to have a normal life, to have a life. He said you need to plan, you need to work, you need to talk, you need to interact with people. Therefore, we do need Jerry. Okay, so when you have Jerry like that, it's throwing the graph, you know, up and down. Okay, so the graph that down, it's the type of Jerry is the dark Jerry that you have to deal with, that give you the disappointment, the turmoil, the boredom, the grief, the pain, and it's the state of mind that is difficult to endure. Okay, because it's too painful. That is the black Jerry. When you go away from, you know, absent from the state of normality. This is normality, your mental space. So when you are trapped in the black Jerry, the graph will come down and is causing the emotion, the feelings, the emotion that is difficult to endure. In the opposite, when you are trapped in the pink Jerry, the pink Jerry give you the fun, the joy, the pleasure, the excitement, all kind of worldly happiness, which
entertainment,
which in fact you are being trapped in the Jerry. But this is what the world know about it. So we call it in Thai, we call it the worldly happiness, you know, with the literal meaning, Kama Sukha is worldly happiness. So worldly happiness is nothing more than Jerry, which is still a cell, which is still an imprisonment, which is still insanity. Okay, insanity. But the point that people need to know is that when you have the pink Jerry, what comes next is the attachment. Because we all like pink Jerry. We don't like this one. Despite that this one is a very direct enemy. When you are being conned by the dark Jerry, and then when people say that it's only an illusion, you know, only the elusive, only matrix world that you are trapped in, you are quite willing to embrace that fact, and you're quite willing to let go because it's too painful, it's difficult to endure. You don't want that. But when it comes to a cell like pink Jerry, you don't want to let go, because your ego is being massaged. Oh, you're so clever, you're so beautiful, you're so talented,
you're so stylish.
Yeah, exactly. You know, your ego has been massaged all the time, and then what comes after that is the attachment. Is the attachment to it. Once you're being attached like that, you are not willing to let go. You don't want to let go because your ego getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it feels nice. You got nice endorphin. It make you really feel physically nice, physically and mentally feel nice, feel good. Then you get attached to that. But the trouble is that no matter it's the black Jerry or the pink Jerry, every type of Jerry, they are all subject to the law of change. Subject to the law of change. So when pink Jerry come, you know, it gives you all these pleasant, you know, feelings that you adore, and then you love it. But Jerry has to go sooner or later. The pink Jerry have to go sooner or later. When Jerry goes sooner or later, you know, you become what? Disappointment. You become disappointed, you become bored, you become whatever, all those negative feelings. If you don't know the mental space, if you have no guided wisdom, if you never practice any meditation until you know about this mental space or the host mind or the state of nirvana, you cannot appreciate the state of mind that is peace and quiet. Your knowledge, your wisdom is just not enough for you to appreciate this state of mind, because you cannot see it. It's really non-physical, it's intangible, it's trapped inside a physical body. So to know this, you really need to have a teacher to begin with. You need to have the guided wisdom to begin with. Okay, so once this pink cherry, go away due to the law of change, you may have this mental space, but it doesn't stay with you long. It replaced with black cherry, and the black cherry is, oh, it's so bored. It's so bored. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Oh, I'm so lonely. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. It's just no fun at all, that kind of thing. So is that clear? So this is the state of normality. Yeah, but because we got to interact with the world, interact with people, we're a social animal, and it's necessary for us to use Jerry. But when you use Jerry, your mind, go ups and down like this, all the time like this. So let's talk about the street walker, which is the majority of the people who know nothing about the host mind. To know the host mind, you really need to have a teacher who give you the guided wisdom, and then you need to do meditation. The system is go. You got to learn in a very systematic way. But without this process of learning, there is no way for you to know this host mind. No way. It's just like, how many people would notice the space in the room in front of them? When people enter your room, I bet people enter your room that is so nice and cozy. People will say that, oh, I love your curtain. Oh, I love your chair. Oh, I love your plant that you put by the window. Oh, I love your cushion. I love this and that. You see?
My crystal.
Yeah. They all notice the furniture in your room. But the last thing they would notice, then they don't mention about it, is the space. No one ever come to the room and say, oh, I love the space in your room. That is abnormal for them, right? They don't say that. They don't say that. They will admire your house, your furniture, your object. When we talk about the street walker, it's this type of people who just notice the furniture. Likewise, what people notice in here is notice either black Jerry, oh, I got so much Jerry, oh, drive me up the wall, or I got pink Jerry. You know what? I got this, I have that, this is, I only got the 50%
car, new outfit.
I got a new bag. I got a new bag. It's just 50% sale, It's supposed to be £200. Now it's only £100, that kind of thing. In fact, if you talk about all the brand name, it's much more than that. Okay, so they all talk about Jerry. And then the trouble is that when you always have things that you want, or pink Jerry, you kind of attach to that, because pink Jerry is about your ego. Your ego. Your ego being massaged, you have all the compliment all the time like that. And people don't want to let go, and people don't want to hear about let go of pink Jerry. What for? It's boring, This is the trouble. This is the trouble. Yeah. So what happened to the world is that people, the majority of people are spiritually ignorant, right? Ignorant in the sense of not talking about IQ, no. Okay, they can be really intelligent with really high IQ, but come to this concept about spirituality, about the truth about the host mind, the visitor.
They don't layers inside, yes.
Yeah.
All of inside.
They don't have a clue. And the majority of the people are this type of people, spiritually ignorant, including our leaders, including our political leaders, including all the representatives that sit in the House, okay? In the House of Commons, we got House of Commons, House of, the populist people, but they don't have a clue about the state of true normality, They don't have a clue about the state of true sanity. So therefore, they use the pink cherry as the standard of living. No, they use pink cherry as the ultimate goal to achieve. And that was led by the American dream in those years. And Hollywood, you know, Hollywood
Gold rush.
magnified this American dream. So American dream, or pink cherry, you know, you got to have a family, right? You know, get married, have a boy, have a girl, and then get the good job, good money, so that we can buy a house, the nice car on the drive, you know, the wife cook bacon and egg, you know, like the smell of coffee. So you see, Hollywood portrayed
Find your big break. Yes.
Exactly. Portrayed and magnified this American dream as the goal of living. As the goal of living. So the rest of the world just follow because it's just so attractive, isn't it? You got all these massive poster, you know, of a dream family, you know, mom and dad with two children, you got a nice house, nice car on the drive, all these things. And then what comes next is that causing people to become the hamster running on this wheel, the hamster wheel, chasing after this American dream, which is the false kind of happiness brought upon by pink cherry. So ultimately, it's come to pink cherry. So pink cherry has become the goal for the population of the world, right? Become the goal. So everyone chases after. That's why we went into this era, a long era of consumerism, materialism, capitalism, chasing after money. So because money can buy pink cherry, money can fulfill a dream, you know.
Money is success, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, until money has become a god. Yeah, the God up there kind of helped me, but God, as you know, dollars, power, money, you know, can help me to fulfill the dream that everyone can see visibly as well. Right?
In many cultures, there's also gods of money too. Say in Chinese culture, there's a god of money, and along with other Chinese,
really? The whole god of money.
Religions,
Yeah.
There's a god of money.
Yeah, when you talk about the Chinese, did you see that culture, their funeral or the anniversary of their ancestor dead? What do they burn? They burn the fake money. Do you know that? Well, I come from a Chinese background, so I know they burn the paper money, they burn the house. Now they burn all the cars, everything. With
in Chinese language.
Yeah,
even when Happy New Year, they say 恭喜发财, which means may you be rich.
Oh, is that what it means? Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, prosperity. Yeah. So can you see that? That is the goal. And they even want to secure that in the afterlife as well. I mean, thank God that we cannot take money with us. If we can take money with us, oh my God, I think the world would have exploded by now, long ago. I mean, this consider that we cannot take money with us, you know. But anyway, this pink cherry has become the makeup normality for the population of the world. And then the entire of the world culture, you know, become the hamster on this wheel, chasing after this money, this dream, this false dream. Look after this for pink cherry. Okay. And consequently, you can tell me the consequence, the result of this fake normality.
I just can say people are tired, exhausted, and a lot of black cherries as a result. Yeah. And they lose that space, that inner self, mental self, and you kind of get plugged in so much into that race, the pink cherry, that sometimes it's arguable that the pink cherry could be even more dangerous than the black cherry sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Pink Jerry has entailed all the problems in the world, from competitiveness, jealousy, right? Envy and jealousy, competitiveness, and then anger, all these things. Every problem that you talk about now on front page news, okay, is all sooner or later lead to money. Everything, including crime, killing people. In the end, what do they want? They all want money in the end. They all want money,
power.
in the end. Yeah, you compete with your friend. The working environment, especially like that, is quite competitive, isn't it? It's really competitive. And then lots of jealousy, and then backstabbing, everything. And it's really difficult to find a true friend as well, isn't it? Sure. Thank God. I don't have to be part of that kind of the world that long. Thank God. But anyway, this is what happened because we have this really false purpose of life that is chasing after money or chasing after Pink Jerry, and then cause the world become as it is now. Become as it is, everyone, you just don't know whether they're coming and going, and then in between we got more of this, even though we're chasing after Pink Jerry, but in the end we got more of this because we get so disappointed, and because the entire world has been rigged as well, has been rigged, has been manipulated, has been, mind control. I mean, this is another big story that I don't want to go into. Yeah, but in the end, we are here really in an enormous, ginormous mess right now. And this is what happened of this messy state of world. It's the result of having the false normality. So basically, yeah, come back to this picture again. So this is a true normality, but we use Pink Jerry, okay? We use Pink Jerry or worldly happiness as the state of normality. And if you look at this picture, can this become normal? Is this natural? Is it possible for you to maintain the Pink Jerry and to stay like that all the time? No, it's impossible.
It gets boring. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. This is unnatural. It's exactly unnatural, but people cannot see this. Knowledge is quite profound because it's unnatural. The nature of a pendulum is that when you have the factor to make it swing, it got to swing. And once you lose that momentum, okay, this thing, it will just have to, come back to the state of normality again. Okay, this is the reason why the state of the world economy is always have a problem at every certain years. You got the credit crunch, you got the depression, you got the slowdown, you got all these. I don't know much about the economic term, but we always have the economy problem. The crash down of the stock market, all these things, and then cause all this unemployment, make people poorer. All this event is the result of the law of change that touch everything, touch absolutely everything. So come to now, we haven't really have an economy system that can be sustainable, that we can truly rely on. It's impossible because we are using this kind of unreal, a fake normality as the standard of living, as the goal of people's life. And more than that is that the higher you climb up this graph, you see, the more you swing, the more that you attach to this Pink Jerry. When it swing back, when you lose that status, when you lose the money or lose your status or lose your fame or whatever, can you see that? If you let this thing, swing too high, when you lose it, it's going to swing back and swing back as far as the force go. Okay, so the people who climb up so high up, when they fall, they will fall deeper, and then the more pain they would experience.
So just as you said, as above, so below, as within, so without. So the higher the climb, the harder the fall. The harder the fall.
And this can answer to you the reason why all these famous people, like singer, like sports, idol or actors, those who are very famous, when they lose their fame, gosh, they're down. And this is the reason why they got to use drugs. Yeah, this is the reason why they used to use drugs. Even though they're in the height of their fame, they already have black Jerry. That is the fear of losing this. You see that? The fear of losing this. And they cannot bear that fear because the pain is just so excruciating. That's why they need help. They need some form of psychedelic.
It helps with the symptoms, right? But not the root of the problem.
Yeah, they haven't got to the root of the problem because they can't understand Jerry yet. They just know that this is good and I want to hang on to this. Okay, but in that trying to hang on to this, they already got the fear of losing it. So in the front stage, they put up appearances full of confidence, this and that. But once they go back home, back to their own home, in their own bedroom, they got to experience this. How long? Because they know that how long this fame going to stay with me? Not long.
Not even just celebrities, but social media. Because what we see on social media oftentimes are not the real people, but the brushed up, the photoshopped, and the staged persona.
And now this problem through social media is don't really just affect the famous people, it's affect every level, of all walks of life. And those who are most vulnerable are children. Because our children, they don't know how to deal with their own emotion that swing back and forth. So therefore, if you give the children too much fame while they are young, that is so dangerous. That is so dangerous because they haven't really got experience in life, about emotion, about feelings. And then suddenly you let this thing, swing so far, ahead. And then to have that euphoria, to have that fame that, oh, you are the center of, people notice you like that. And how long does it last? How long does it last? So when you lose that, you're doomed. And this answer to all these children actors, I heard Barry just told me the other day, I love that boy in Independence Day or something. Is it Independence Day? With the big alien, and then this young boy, he drove the spaceship.
Oh, was it E.T. by Steven Spielberg?
Let's say a lot of those children.
Okay.
The future, we all know about their story, right? They either go into drugs and then their adulthood is just being destroyed. Okay, so, and this is the reason why, not to mention children who cannot deal with their emotion, even adults, we find it hard to deal with that emotion, isn't it? Yeah, so come back to this. Provided that humanity have the leaders who know about the horse mind and true normality. I know this is a long way away. Okay, provided that most nations, have their leaders know about the true normality, true sanity. This should be the goal of people's life. These should be the goals of people's life. Okay, and from this true normality, we can educate the entire population to know about this. Because bring your mental self back home to your host mind, is a very direct route, direct method to help you get to your host mind, get to your mental space, or help the individual get you back to the state of true normality, true sanity. So suppose that if everyone have that true normality and true sanity with them, okay, their life will become normal. Will their life, their way of life will become normal. Yeah, as above, so below, as within, so without. So once you know that true normality, whatever you do, you know, it will be very much close to this state of mind. Your speech, your action, your thinking. This is what the Buddha talk about: the right thinking, the right thought, the right livelihood, the right speech, the Eight Noble, the Noble Eightfold Path. Okay, everything is right. So that right speech, right livelihood, life, this and that. Okay, that is the state of true normality. Your way of life is the true normality, which is very humble, very down to earth, very relaxed, very forgiving, you know, and then you have that really natural kind of loving kindness and compassion. It just happens so innately without having to pretend, or you just happen, you know, so innately. You don't have to force yourself to be loving, to have compassion to everything. And I would believe that the entire population will become vegetarian just overnight because they find it hard to kill animal for food. How many people can actually, you know, go and slit the chicken's throat and then throw into to make a chicken curry, green curry?
Not
No,
many.
I don't think
Not
that.
many have the stomach for it.
Maybe 99% cannot do it. Maybe one who said, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. You know, but not many people can do it. Why? You know why they cannot do? Because they know that if they go and kill an animal, they'll be taken by guilty Jerry straight away. And their life will be just like this, you know, all the time. And they can't, and they don't like that. So that's why we got to hire corporation, you know, Sainsbury, we hire CP, you know, Tesco, Lotus. You kill for me, okay? You kill this animal for me, and then, you know, chop them up, bone them. Don't let me see any blood, and package them so nicely.
Nice.
I don't
no
have,
legs or feet.
yeah, we don't have to touch it. And then when you make a pot of curry, you cut curry, you just drop it in without touching it. Okay, so don't think that you follow your moral precept only because you don't kill ants, you don't slap on a mosquito. Because a lot of Thai people, they think that, you know, I never kill an ant in my life, never slap a mosquito in my life, so therefore my precept is pure. No, far from it. Far from it. Yeah, because as long as you are still a meat eater, you share a portion of that sin, because you can't do it yourself. Therefore, you hire people to kill for you so that you can eat the animal. Okay? But when you really know the state of normality, when you truly know the state of this sanity, loving kindness and compassion will happen really innately without having to think of anything. And then you will naturally know that killing animal for food is a no-no. Why you need to kill a life to eat for your own benefit? It just happened. You won't kill it. So this is the symptom, the quality of people who lead a real normal life. A real normal life is, you know, you're really down to earth. You're really ground level-headed. In English, you're level-headed. You're really simple, ordinary, you know, all these quality. Forgiving, and then patience. Love is about understanding, patience, forgiving. This is all the quality of love. Love is very, very abstract. There is nothing that you can show you that love. But if you have patience, this is more understandable, right? Patience, simplistic, you know, ordinary, and then forgiving, all these things. You can do it. You can act it out. You can act it out. Okay. And
that's what we'll talk about for our next tape, unconditional love.
Okay. Yeah. That's lovely. Okay. So come back to this. I want to wrap this up. So normality a normal way of life is got to be a state, a way of life of people, individual people who know the state of normality, true normality, know the state of true normality, know the state of true sanity. So if there are more individual people who lead the life like this, you simply just add them up and then become the civilization of population of the world. Yeah, and that is, so this should be the real goal of people's life. But up to this point, I think we're still very far from it at the moment. Yeah, looking at the world right now. Looking at the world right now, we are still very far from it. So what we are doing right now really is the very first step, really, to give people this guided wisdom that there is true normality in opposed to this type of man-made normality. I think we got to get this thing really straight right, before we can see any true peace on earth, right? Okay, yes. So I hope that this clarify your question, Rosalind.
Definitely. The next time somebody says you're not normal, you're weird, now you understand what real and true normality is. It's the state of organic being, as Ansu.
Yeah.
So
sorry to interrupt you. The state of supposed normality that people have made up, okay, and make it as a goal for people to follow. That is the state of insanity, that enough for people to be able to conduct themselves in their daily life. Responsible for yourself, that you get up in the morning and then, you know, to clean yourself up, to dress up, and then responsible for yourself, go out and get a job, look after yourself, look after your family, and then abide by the law, okay? Have respect to the law, respect to the social value, all these things. This is the state of supposed normality that we make it up, okay? But in this sense, the Buddha still class as insanity, in the sense of the worldly happiness for you is your real normality. You know what I try to say? I'm getting a bit stumble with my words now, but you know what I try to say, okay? The man-made, the makeup, supposed normality that we talk about is the state of mind that people, you know, can still responsible for themselves. And from this state of mind that is supposed normality, you can go further to the state of absolute insanity, when you got to be taken away, being sectioned, that kind of thing, and cause lots of problems. Okay, so there are so many different levels. That's why it's so important for us to know the true state of normality. Because if you don't know this true state of normality, there is no way that we know that what level that we have our insanity, you know what I mean? Yeah, because a lot of mad people, insane people, they'll think that they are normal. I'm not mad, I'm normal. Yeah, but how can you judge? How can you judge if you don't really know the true state of normality? You get that? Okay,
yes.
So and the true state of normality got to be something that have nothing to do with Jerry, to be fair, right? Does it make sense to you?
Yes,
so
yes.
Jerry is the part that creates the different scale of abnormality, insanity. Okay, so if you want to know the state of true normality, it got to have something. It cannot to have anything to do with Jerry.
That's the state of true normality. And you mentioned in terms of our worldly system and how society operates, how we function as a society. It's that balance that you find between the worldly happiness and also the true normality. So finding better and more healthy balance is the key too. But then again, that, as you mentioned, is still a bit of insanity. It's not true normality.
Yeah,
but
a bit. It's just a little bit of insanity.
That's compromising.
Yeah, it is problematic, isn't it? So that's why it's so important for us to know the true normality. Otherwise, it's very difficult to talk about it. to talk about it. Okay, then. Thank you, Roslyn. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Ajahn, for your insights today. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you. Thank you, Roslyn, for having me. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
To the majority of the populace with different levels of intelligence, worldly happiness is their supposed state of normality and sanity. This refers to those who are responsible for themselves, going through education, work, taking care of their families, abiding by the law and social values, voicing opinions, taking actions when needed, and so forth. To the fully enlightened ones, the supposed normality is still classified as abnormality and insanity. It's because their thoughts, Jerry, is subject to the law of change and can be corrupted. In contrast, for true normality and sanity, this state of mind is beyond thought or Jerry. Hence, it's not subject to the law of change, nor can it be corrupted. This ultimate experience is the safest ground for all beings to dwell, and deserves to be known as Source, Nirvana, God, and Tao. Thought is simply a tool for us to express and communicate. If one knows the state of true normality, then the process of thoughts will be safe and steering toward the direction of helping others to know the true normality with understanding, loving kindness, and compassion. Without the state of true normality as the standard model, it's extremely difficult to know which types of thoughts are normal or abnormal. It's also the case when it comes to the thoughts, Jerry, of government leaders who are well equipped with political, military, and financial power. When political leaders fall prey to Jerry, chaos reigns. In addition, religious leaders projecting false beliefs onto large groups of devotees had also resulted in mass suicide events. The pages of world history have long been written with political and religious leaders such as Hitler, Mao, and Stalin, each with different levels of abnormality and insanity, whose leaderships led to immeasurable suffering among countless people. This problem hasn't yet gone away. That's why it's important to know what true normality is. So let's clarify that the true normality or sanity is indeed the innocent perception, source, nirvana, or God. This ultimate experience has to be acquired by individuals by practicing mindfulness meditation or bring your mental self back home. Once half of the world population remembers the state of true normality from within, will we reach a higher potential to achieve peace on earth and the true normal way of life in our culture and civilization. Now that we know what true normality is, we can understand why all ascended masters have always taught us to be humble, grounded, loving, caring, compassionate, and forgiving. These are all selfless virtues that make up the nature of true normality and sanity. For this reason, it's always safer for us not to let our emotions rise too high up toward Pink Jerry. The higher it goes, the bigger the ego becomes, and once lost, the deeper one sinks towards Black Jerry, and all the more pain one feels. Being grounded and humble means there's no climbing either up or down this emotional scale, hence no falling. Consequently, life becomes stable and peaceful. Regarding Pink Jerry, this is advice to the students. If Pink Jerry comes our way, embrace it by all means, appreciate and make the most of the beautiful moments. But when it vanishes due to the law of change, be wiser and let it go with grace.
Thank you for listening, and for more information, please visit buymeacoffee.com website by clicking the link under this video description. You can download some of Super One Green's free books, or you can purchase them. There are also some digital files of Super One Green's teaching media available for download as well. You can also become a part of our Bring Your Mental Self Back Home community. You can join activities like Piggy Bank and Life Saving Bags projects or workshops and seminars. If you would like to support Super One Green's work and our community's projects, you can subscribe and become a member on Super One Green's YouTube channel or buymeacoffee.com. Your support is gratifying. Thank you for your support.